Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. My name is Oli, and today I am joined by the lovely Cara. Cara, how are you today?
Hello, I'm good. I'm so excited about Australia versus the world. I can't wait to
S-
talk about it.
Well, this is what we are here to do. We are here to
Yes.
talk about the I can't even speak. I'm so excited. The AU versus the World cast. It all dropped yesterday, so we are here to talk about it. We've already got you lot in the chat, all talking. Remember, guys, the live chat is now open, so you can share all your thoughts. I did ask before the podcast started, who are people excited for? We've got Daryl in the chat. He's excited for the King of the Jungle Baby, the Golden God, Queen Sari, Janine the Godmother, the Black Widow herself, Poverty. You've got Jenny. She's excited. Um, Gabe is saying that 14 players is his only disappointment. But what I can say, Gabe, is these 14 players are here to compete.
Mhm.
However, before we get onto that, I know we have literally Survivor AU Reigns versus Bronze 2. The dust has not settled, and we're already talking about AU versus the world. But I do think we need to give some flowers to someone because we just want to say congratulations, Miles. So sorry if you've been spoiled. If you have, why have you not watched it yet? But congratulations, Miles. You are the winner of Brains versus Brawn 2. We won't speak too much on this because the recap, we will be giving you your flowers. But Miles, if you're watching this, congratulations. Well done. Very well earned. The Jungle Rat did it.
Mhm.
Cara, anything?
Congratulations. You know, well-earned win. I think Miles is a great winner, so congratulations.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprising win. We're going to talk about it all on the recap show on Thursday night, Friday for all the Australians. So keep in watch for that. But we are here to talk about this amazing cast. I wanted to bring this picture up first because it literally looks like we are team captains, Cara, and I just found it so funny.
It's
Um,
so good.
I know. Initial thoughts, though, what are your thoughts? How are you feeling about this season?
I really like the cast. There's so many people I'm excited to like people that have played before that I'm excited played before together that I am excited to see them play again together. I think that'll be an interesting dynamic to watch.
Mm.
Um, yeah, there's just so many good people that it's just gonna be. There's no way it's not gonna be good.
Oh, I'm so ready. I mean, they really got the creme de la creme of not just Aussie players, but international players. Like being an international person, obviously, I am
Mhm.
definitely gonna be hyped for this season. Like I love seeing internationals. Um, but when you actually look at the world tribe and kind of see their stats, you see how stacked they are. But we
Mhm.
will get into it. And first, we're going to give our reactions to the Aussie tribe. So you have got King George, Janine, Luke, Sarah, David, Kirby, and Shawnee. So, Cara, first reactions. Who are you excited to see? Who's standing out? Give us your
Mhm.
reactions.
I am so excited for George. I am the biggest George fan. So anytime that he's on, I'm excited about it. So I hope he gets his win this time because he deserves to win in my eyes. I'm also excited to see Kirby again. I
Yes.
I always found it interesting how her first time was like the first time she didn't really watch Survivor before. She just kind of went in and did her thing. So I'm excited to see now that like Kirby has that experience, what the gameplay will be like. Um, and I'm
Same.
really, and yeah, definitely those two. I mean, I don't, there's a few of them I'm not familiar with because I haven't seen all of the Australian seasons.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's exciting. I think I saw something about Luke and Sarah kind of, I think they aligned or something on their season,
Yeah, they
which
did.
maybe will be interesting to see them, what will happen with them this time.
Yeah, so to give you kind of a brief rundown of things, because I know you haven't watched all of the AU seasons, and me being the
Mm-hmm.
international, I kind of I'm a bit of a nerd on it. So you have Sarah and Luke who both played their first seasons together. Luke, his best finish, I think he got seventh on that season, and then Sarah got eighth. They did align, but Sarah kind of tried to go for Luke before. Um,
Ooh.
And the other interesting one is Janine, David, and Luke, because they all played champions versus contenders together too. I want to say it was the second one. Where Luke and David were really close. They were like two peas in the pod. And then Janine, she was known as the godmother. So I mean, Gabe has said it. Janine runs a business. Miracle, she played for the first time. It's true. What's also funny, I'm going to bring Janine's stats up here. She finished sixth. Janine is someone I'm so looking forward to. She was she was a killer player during her season. Like, there's a reason they brought her back. What I also find really funny is this is not Australian tea, but David, who has obviously just won Deal or No Deal Island, he loves doing the reality shows. He did the Australian version of The Apprentice. Obviously, you know how the head person has two advisors. One of the advisors for David's season was Janine.
Oh, wow.
Janine and David have this tangled relationship, and I feel like it's going to be so fun to watch. Another pairing we do have to talk about is King George and Shawnee, because they did play heroes versus villains together. How do you feel like they're gonna how do you think it's gonna go for them two on the island?
I do think I see some of the comments, and I do agree. I think George might be in a bit of a bad position maybe going into this, but George always finds a way. And maybe they'll, I know maybe Shawnee, did I say that wrong?
Shawnee.
Shawnee. I don't know. Maybe she'll probably want to get back at him, but like, if you don't have any other connections on the tribe with the other players, I feel like at least in the beginning, you're going to want to work with the one person you might know. So
yeah. Well, you kind of mentioned the chat. Let's kind of show comments. Jenny in the chat saying George most in trouble, zero connections with bad blood from Shawnee. And even Daryl kind of agrees. He thinks that King George is slightly screwed. Shawnee will want revenge. Obviously, you've got Luke, David, and Sarah that are all friends. Luke and Kirby. Like, there's a lot going against him. Where is it? Joe, though. Joe doesn't think that Shawnee's going to hold anything against him, so that will be interesting. Yes, this is a very good point. Thank you for reminding me, Gabe. Shawnee and David played together as well in All Stars, so this tribe is really intertwined. The only person who hasn't really played with anyone is Kirby. Kirby is kind of the free agent in this sense, but I want to bring up Daryl's point, because Daryl made a good point here, which I actually didn't know. Sarah is the one who told David to go on the show. So there's a reason Sarah is a queen, and this is why I'm excited for her.
David's going nowhere. David's going right to the end.
Do you know what? I don't know about that. I think David is going to do well. I don't want that to get it twisted. Obviously, he is the golden god, and if I just bring up his stats, he Soul Survivor. He has been one of the few winners of AU. So I'm not going to discount him, but I do think people are going to be eyeing him. People aren't going to let him go easily. So that's where
but he also has the Parvati connection. Come merge or swap, whatever happens.
Well, funny enough, this happened before Deal or No Deal Island.
So this was before. I thought this was after.
No, okay. If I remember my timeline correctly, this is before. They filmed this, and then they filmed Deal or No Deal Island. So yeah, it's definitely going to be intriguing.
So then maybe not. Then maybe they won't. Work together, or maybe they do, because they had a good relationship.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong. Daryl is saying AU versus the World was after.
It was after.
I can't remember. I know that it happened. My brain thinks, but okay. Everyone's telling me they thought it was right after, so we're gonna go with it was right after. I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong in this situation. So actually, Lara, you're right.
That'll be an interesting dynamic. If the two of them come together or get to be together at any point.
Yeah. Do you think, because obviously at this point then, David's won a lot of money. David's sitting pretty in life in this point. Do you think that poverty is gonna not bring it up, but be like, look, he's already got enough. Come on now. He don't need that. He don't need this. He don't need that. We can have it.
Like, I feel like if she's in trouble and it's like her or David, maybe then she'll pull that out and use it. But I don't know. I feel like he's a good ally. I feel like they were good allies to each other in Deal or No Deal, and I don't think it's worth getting rid of someone that is a good ally.
I'm kind of inclined to agree with you there. I think, especially with this being AU versus the world, you kind of don't want it to be so stagnant in the sense of it's AU players versus global players. You kind of want to see them intertwine and mingle. So I could definitely see David doing that with poverty. One person we haven't really brought up, who I do really want to talk about, Shaunie. Shaunie is one of my favorite AU players. Like, when it comes to AU, when they talk about the social game, she is, if not possibly the top AU social player. And I'm happy to make that bold statement, hot take. How do you think Shaunie's going to do?
I think she'll do well. I think people will like her. I think they'll want to work with her. I definitely can see her going far. I only saw her on Heroes vs. Villains. But, like, I really enjoyed her, so I'm excited to see her again. I do think she'll go far. I think she'll mesh well with everyone.
The thing with Shaunie is really good at integrating herself. Like, obviously it says down here her best finish was 4th. That was in her first season, Champions versus Contenders. She was the final contender standing, I do believe. So she knows how to get herself deep into the game. Like, even on All Stars, she was 7th. But I'm also going to remind people, Shaunie is a competitor. Shaunie physically is good. Like, we've seen in this recent series of Australia, like, people were really looking at, like, the endurance people. Shaunie's an endurance queen. Like, she can just chill. So before we go on to the global tribe, is there anything else you want to say in regards to this AU tribe?
I mean, I don't know much about Luke besides that fact of him and Sarah, but I feel like you hear Australian Survivor, you hear Luke's name. So what do you like? How do you think he'll do? Like, what do you think of him?
I don't want to say I'm hit or miss with Luke. I think he will do well because he's got David, and I know that him and David are going to be like this. I just need to bring up the comments. Daryl, he is the people's champion. That's what his nickname was. Gabe, the casuals will love him. And James said it kind of best. Like, David and Luke are very set up because they have Sarah, who they both have a connection with, and then Kirby, who allegedly is really good friends with Luke outside the game. So I could definitely see those 4 kind of doing really well and being strong. So I am excited to see how Luke does. I'm hoping that I can see some more from him, in the sense of, I don't want him just to, and this is for everyone, I don't want them just to rely on the previous connections they had. I know this is a full returnee season. But I'm hoping we can kind of see Luke shy away from David, because I think when you watched Champions versus Contenders 2, David and Luke were just inseparable. Like, they were an amazing duo, and I'm not discrediting it. But they were just, it was interlocked. So I'm hoping we can see them apart as well. We can see Luke make his own decisions, David make his own decisions, and then come back in the end. Like, that's what I'm hoping for.
And Luke is the only, I mean, not Luke, David's the only winner on this tribe.
Yes, David is the only winner in this tribe. You have George, who is the only finalist. And then the lowest placing person is, I believe, Sarah at 8th.
I wonder if that's going to come into account. Sorry.
Well, no. Oh God, absolutely, you're fine. I do want to bring up Sarah though, because she is the lowest
Mhm.
ranking person in general. I'm excited for Sarah. I loved Sarah during her season. I was waiting for her to have a returning moment. I was wanting her to return for All Stars. I was wanting her to return for Heroes versus Villains. Like everything. Whenever there was a returning option, I was like, where is Sarah? So to have her back here, I'm really excited because it almost feels like they're giving her flowers. Kind of similarly with Janine, where
Mhm.
I feel like you're saying that like these are the best of the best, and it's like I have always been such a big Sarah fan. So to see her here, I'm really happy. Like I said, she knows Luke that, and which I think is going to help her. Again, she's got her connection with David. Sarah is a really strong social player, in my opinion. So I could see Sarah really well insulated in the tribe and actually potentially having a lot of power. Because I think she is someone that could get along with Shawnee, could get along with Janine, could get along with Kirby as well. And like me and James are on the same wavelength here. She can play the middle of this
Mhm.
tribe. Like she really can. Um, I've just seen a question from Randy, which I'm going to get to. Who do you think retires after this on the tribe? Who do you think is going to
Ooh.
be done with Survivor after this?
Hmm.
It's a spicy question, I know.
This is gonna, I don't know. Maybe David.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's my
was.
pick.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking David. I was definitely. See, I can't. Gabe says Janine. I'm kind of inclined to say it as well. I would love to see Janine on another season, but I can understand if she would say no. Yeah, I would definitely say David.
Mhm.
I would possibly even say King George. I
I was
think
thinking that too.
I just feel like it's one of those because I've always been a big component of you don't want to just reuse, like you don't want just the same people. Like my
Mhm.
partner made a reference to someone on the other tribe being like I hope you get this reference, the Jujubee of Survivor from Drag Race. So for anyone that doesn't know, Jujubee, it's RuPaul's Drag Race, someone that just is constantly brought back. Like this drag queen has been brought back to every known franchise possible. And I think it just started becoming a joke and then kind of just being like, okay, here we go. I'm hoping that doesn't become the case here because I think we've got some solid players. But I can see kind of like
Mhm.
someone like King George being that instance where people are just constantly brought back. And I'm like, it needs
Hmm.
to stop.
I feel like for George, what I feel like for him, I feel like it'll
Mm.
depend on where he places, and
Yes.
that would determine if he plays again or not. That's what I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing. That's fair. Um, But this is the AU tribe. This is who is going to be representing Australia. Cara, quick fire. Who is your favorite going into this tribe?
I have to go with George. I love George.
That's
Wait, are we
fair. And
talking? Yeah.
yeah, with this tribe,
Okay, yeah. George.
George. Okay. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Sarah. I'm gonna go with Sarah. Sarah is the one I've wanted her to return for ages, so I'm gonna go with Sarah.
Okay.
People in the chat, let us know who your picks are. We want to know. But we are going to move over to the World Tribe. This has got Sari, Tony, Lisa, Poverty, Rob, Cassandra, and Tommy. So, Cara, first reactions, your thoughts.
So I don't know the international players. So I don't know them, but like
Fine.
the US Survivor players, I'm very excited about. I mean, we've seen them multiple times,
Yeah.
but you know, who knows? I feel like this is a different type of game that I think will
Mm-hmm.
be more interesting than them just being on another US season of Survivor. And like shorter seasons like for Big Brother when they did like reindeer games, I feel
Yeah.
like that was short and it was so many good players came back, and it was just so good, and that's how I feel this is going to be. So I'm excited about him, especially excited to see Tony with all of these people.
Well, let's talk about him quickly. You've got Tony,
Mhm.
the only person here that is a two-time survivor, sole survivor. So how do you think Tony's going to do on this tribe?
I am worried that he's gonna be targeted right away for having won twice, but I feel like I'm going into this thinking it's like Australian Survivor, and I feel like they play so chaotic on
Mhm.
Australian Survivor way more than like US Survivor. So I feel like he's gonna fit in perfectly because he's chaotic. I feel like he's gonna do well with it.
That's very fair. Again, I'm kind of hit or miss on him. I'm not sure. I think he can do well. I think it's going to depend on kind of how Suri and kind of also Poverty kind of take him, because the only
Mhm.
real connections we have on this tribe is Tony with Suri for Game Changers, but they didn't really play, and Tony
Mhm.
with Poverty for Winners of War, and I
Yeah.
can't remember if they played either. Um, so, but you kind of mentioned you don't know the internationals, so
Mhm.
I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to go through them for you. First up, I'm going to talk about Cassandra from Quebec. She played last year. Obviously, it says here her best placement was second. Um, she was a zero vote finalist, but she played a really good game. This was I really tried to make sure I watched Quebec last year. I really think she's going to be a sleeper. I think because it's Quebec, and again, a lot of people don't really know, I think she's got the ability to come into this sort of season with just no preconceived opinions on her. And I think that's really going to bode well for her. Um, I will say I think she can be a firecracker. So I am very intrigued to see what happens. The next person I'm going to talk about is Rob. Survivor South Africa. He is one of our winners here. And I need to find the comment. It was James. Here it is. Rob is arguably the best newbie winner ever. And I
Ooh.
can tell you, because Kim level dominance, I can concur. Rob, physically, he won 5 individual immunities, which was obviously at that point the most out of anyone in any franchise, tied with all the Americans before that was broken this year. His control on his on his season was amazing. He did get some votes, people did clock him, but the way he was able to navigate and play such a dominant game, I can see him doing the same here, especially when it comes to physicality. Like, I think this tribe are going to need Rob for challenges. So I think if anyone comes for him, like they're gonna suffer, like
Mm.
like at the start of the game when it's team challenges. So
Y
yeah, I
I
mean,
was gonna say, I was looking at, like, the tribe and, like, thinking of the tribes, like, do you think tribe strength is going to be, like, important in this
this is the thing,
in
I
this
don't
game?
know. I feel like right at the start it is, because I think,
Mhm,
especially for the first challenge, that both tribes are going to want to come out the gate swinging. They're both tribes are going to want to prove themselves. So I definitely think for the first round, yes, and then maybe after that, once they kind of understand how the game's going to work, things will change. But I think that
mhm.
gives Rob enough time to integrate himself. So I have a good feeling about Rob. Um, and like everyone's kind of saying in the chat, like Jenny said it, like Rob is a top tier winner. Like
I'm excited to watch him.
if people haven't watched South Africa, go watch it, watch all the seasons, but particularly go watch Rob's season, because he was dominant. Like when people compare him to Kim, it is a very fair comparison. So the next one I'm going to talk about is Lisa, who was she's New Zealand. This is where I feel like she's going to be another sleeper. She was the sole survivor. She, I don't recall her winning any immunities. And it was a 4-3 vote. It's a very close vote. But I think she was. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of briefly watched a recap of it to understand. I got kind of more of an underdog in her season. But with Lisa, I think Lisa, out of everyone on this cast, is in a really, really good spot. Because she is New Zealand. That's a really strong Aussie connection, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong there. Australians, please confirm if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. But also, she's a sole survivor, and I could see her teaming up with you've got 4 winners on this tribe. You've got Tony, you've got Poverty, you've got Rob, and you've got Lisa. 4 winners. So I could see her really working some of those angles. So I'm intrigued to see how she does. I do think as long as she can make it past the first couple of episodes, I think we are going to see Lisa kind of just sneak her way.
It's interesting that there's so many winners on this tribe. And if they will try and like stick together because of that.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like, when you compare this tribe statistic-wise to the AU tribe, this tribe is the stacked tribe, because I think the lowest placing person is Sari. Because you've got
crazy.
Cassandra and Tommy, who were both second. They were both runners-up. You have, obviously, the 4 winners, and then, Sari as third.
Yeah.
Just want to get into the chat quickly, because you've got James. She will definitely work with Sari and Poverty. And then Gabe kind of says her big move was voting out a player with an idol. I remember that now. So yeah, she's definitely not going to be afraid to pull the trigger and make a very sneaky play. And also, just one last thing from Gabe. She is apparently friends with Shannon Gus and a Sari fangirl. So that's definitely going to play into game.
Maybe the girls will stick together.
Do you know what? I could see the girls sticking together on this tribe. I really could. The final international is Tommy. He is from Finland. He finished second. My brain can't remember if he got any votes or not. I looked it up quickly. Not much. He's kind of the big question mark for me. I don't know how he's going to do. So I'm excited to see him play. I'm really excited to see that they've gotten someone from kind of the Scandinavia region, because for fans that don't know, the original Survivor season was actually Sweden. Sweden was the first season. So to have kind of someone, I was hoping to see someone from Sweden. That was actually would have what I've loved. But Finland, it's right next door, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, I will say Tommy's my big question mark. He is the one person I knew nothing coming in, so I was trying to figure it out as well. So he definitely, I think, kind of can, like Cassandra, he's gonna maybe not have many people have a lot of opinions. So I'm very unsure. He's definitely a question mark for me, I will admit.
There's I feel like there's so many ways that this tribe could go. You could have all the international players stick together. You could have all the girls stick together. You could have the Americans stick together, or the guys stick together. There's so many different combinations of this, which is going to be so interesting to see which happens with them.
Oh God, yeah. Like you said, you could see all of the non-Americans team up. You could see the 4 winners team up. You could see the girls team up. You could see like the 3 boys, like they could be really strong together. You could see I could see a lot happening with this tribe, which makes me excited, because I feel like there is endless possibilities, which is what I'm excited for. Obviously, we haven't. I feel bad. We have not touched on 2 queens, which are Sari and Poverty. So I will let you go ahead, Cara, since as the American, how does it feel having 3 Americans and no British people? No, I'm joking.
It's funny that there are 3 American players and one of each of the other international players, which that's interesting. I'm excited to see Sari play in this shorter format with with, like, this group of people, I'm excited to see how she'll do in this. I feel like I mean, of course, she's gonna do great socially, so I feel like that's gonna be very fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Cerie's an icon. Like,
Mhm,
you know, I said this with AU, like the AU players. I do not want to see just people repetitive. Cerie is someone I could see just playing. I'd love it anyway because it's Cerie. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see how she's gonna do. I hope that I know that there are a lot of people that are a fan of her here, and I hope that they see that and they're like, oh, do you know what? I just want to play with Cerie. Screw it. Like I do hope we see
mhm.
that. That's what I'm looking forward to. And Poverty again, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see how Poverty is going to go. I think she is the Black Widow. She is known for wanting to stick women strong, which I always love. I always
Mhm.
love it when I see a strong female alliance. Shout out the Coven. Um, so yeah, I think she's definitely gonna have options. And like we said, she has got a very
Mhm.
good connection on the other tribe with David. So I think just from a blanket look, you can see her having a very strong position right out of the gate. How do you think she's going to do?
I agree. I think she's gonna be in the game for a long time. Especially, I feel like she'll have no problem making connections, especially with the other ladies on this tribe. And then as soon as her and David get together, I think they'll definitely align. And they can even keep it under wraps. It could just be like an unspoken thing, and
Yeah.
they won't even have to say anything, as long as they both make it there. I'm
Yes.
if they are familiar with Parvati, I could see that her being a target. I could see
Yeah.
them coming for her for, like, knowing how she is and how she plays and
Yeah.
what her game is, so I don't know.
I could definitely see her on this tribe potentially being a target just because of obviously like
Mhm.
I don't want to say the icon status, but I think what kind of mitigates that is you have a lot of people on this just cast in general that are stacked. So
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those if someone points out someone else for being a big threat, it's like, hold on, what about you though? Um,
Yeah.
Jenny in the chat says Parv will have the biggest days played record, assuming she lasts more than 3 days, which is
Ooh.
very interesting. Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna just go for a couple more because we were chatting so much that chat was popping off. Thank you guys for chatting. We are
Yeah.
gonna get to all your things. Daryl says Sari is great. I think she will go very far. She hasn't won. She is social and isn't a challenge threat. So yeah, I think that is one of Sari's great assets. She is able to make
Mhm.
herself non-threatening. You've got Culture Clash TV. Welcome, by the way. Love Lisa. She once voted for me to win on the jury of an org. That's Queen. Love that. Wish I got to play.
That's awesome.
Gabe thinks that Tommy is going in as a free agent, and he is a Tony fanboy. So
Oh,
that's interesting.
okay.
And he also thinks that Cassandra and Tommy, being from non-English series, need to team up. I do agree. I would love to see both of them team up.
Oh, do they not
Um,
speak English?
well, they can obviously they can
Oh.
speak English, but obviously they have the connection of not being from a English speaking version of the show.
Mm.
Um, and I think you see that a lot. Obviously, we've seen a lot of coverage of AU, we've seen a lot of coverage of US, we've seen a lot of coverage of South Africa, UK. Rarely do we see content, obviously, and stuff from the survivor community when it comes to Finland, Quebec. You've got Turkey, Sweden, like France, like Koalanta, sorry, that is a top tier version of the show. And obviously, because it's not English speaking, a lot of people don't really look at it. So I'm intrigued to see how they do. One last thing from
Yeah.
James. He sees Rob, Tommy, or Cass going first. Hopefully not Tony though. That'll be
Ooh.
interesting. Um, so Cara, any final thoughts on this tribe?
I think I might be more excited for this tribe than the Australian tribe. Because because there's just so many different ways this one can go, and not knowing some of them, I think is fun as well to see them play.
Mm.
For my first time to see them play, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about this tribe altogether.
Yeah, I'm really excited to meet people. Like, I'm really excited to meet Lisa, meet Rob, meet Cassandra, and meet Tommy, because we haven't seen them. I haven't fully
Mhm.
watched them, so I'm excited to see how they do. Um, but I have to say, Cara, out of everyone here, who is your favorite? Who are you rooting for the most?
Ooh. Hmm. You know, I'm rooting for Tony, especially after the Traitors. I feel like he needs this. He needs to go a little further. And well, okay. I feel I'm gonna have like three. I'm gonna say I'm rooting for Sari because I feel like her winning this would be awesome. But
Yes.
also, what you said about Rob really intrigued me, so I'm really excited for him too. So those are my top three on this tribe.
Fair, fair. That's fine. Do you know what? Because it's international, I'm going to allow it. I'm going to say the person I'm looking forward to, and I think I'm going to be rooting for the most, is Cassandra from
Mm.
Quebec. I remember watching her, and I really resonated with her during Quebec. I'm really excited to see her play in this version. I'm hoping she can make it far, and we can see not just her, but a lot of the internationals obviously showcase themselves. I am going to say now, next time we do AU versus the world, just have one Brit. Have one person from the UK. I will
Mhm.
give you the recommendations, AU producers, don't you worry. But before we get, I will just actually, I'll go to this next slide because this is the cast. I do just want to get a couple of comments I've starred. You've got Daryl who said Luke is a fan of Tony, and Luke did make some spy tracks in his season. That is true.
Ooh.
Then James thinks that George is probably the biggest fan AU wise, but isn't sure how the rest of them are US wise, which I think is going to be interesting. And he also thinks that
Oh.
George versus David will definitely be a thing, which I agree. I could see that definitely being a thing.
So then
Um,
George could be useful for them if he has knowledge of the US seasons to help
yeah.
out the other Australian players if they don't know.
Mm,
That could be good for him.
yeah. I've just seen a question from Daryl. If Cara watched more of the Australian Survivor seasons, she would be very yes.
I
Obviously, that's
agree.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. But obviously, we all know our knowledge. However, we are slightly biased here. We are like we're not Aussies, so there is going to be
Mhm.
and obviously you've got Cara that's got 3 Americans here. Obviously, um,
Yeah. I
Randy
am
does say in
excited
the
for the
yeah,
Australian players though, definitely.
we will say that now. Randy
Mhm.
does say if Tony wins, does he still solidify himself as the Survivor GOAT? I'm gonna just be shady and say no. But no, obviously 3 wins. 3 wins would be crazy.
That would be amazing.
There is a select few people that have won twice. So for Tony to be the only one that would potentially win 3 times would be insane. Um,
Mhm.
Cara, though, final thoughts. What are you expecting from this season? Have you got any predictions? What are you waiting for?
Ooh. I just feel like it's gonna be so chaotic, and I'm so excited for chaos. I'm excited for to see so many. I'm I'm excited to see the strategy. I feel like the strategy is going to be off the charts. It's gonna be amazing. There's I don't know. I'm just so excited for it. There's no way it's gonna be bad. It just can't be.
Same.
Should we
Same.
should we predict who we think's gonna win or be first boot?
Oh,
Is that too much?
I mean, we can if we want. We will have some more content before then, so maybe these opinions will change.
That's too much.
Um, but I mean, we can give our overall maybe like who will be really rooting for. Um,
Okay.
so go. I will be nice, and we can be chaotic and have a first boot prediction here. But overall, who are you rooting for? Just looking at this cast.
Well, this is so tough because I feel like I'm gonna say someone I know, but I feel like I probably shouldn't. But I really want to say George. I'm always rooting for George, but I feel like I don't know. Let me say someone else. I'm really looking forward to seeing Kirby. I'm rooting for
Yes.
Kirby.
Yes. I'm definitely looking forward to Kobe. I'm gonna have to go back and say Sarah. I'm gonna have to go
Mhm.
back and say Sarah. I am so excited to see Sarah play again. Like I said, I've been waiting for her to come back and play. So to see her back, like I am very excited. Um, and I do just want to say, I think I want to bring up Gabe's point here because I think this is just I just want fun
Mhm.
TV. Yes.
Yep.
Um, I am predicting that we are gonna see some drama. We are gonna see fierce blindsides. I feel like we're gonna have some really fluid gameplay. I think
Mhm.
we're not gonna just see sides. We're not gonna see people. Here's one side, here's another. I think we're really gonna see a lot of this. We're gonna see a lot of moving and shaking. So I am excited,
I
and
agree.
just the fact that there have been fans like myself who have been waiting for like a global kind of all stars for ages, and this is kind of like the taste of it. Like I want to give Survivor AU their props for really listening to what the fans have been saying and bringing us a season that not just Survivor AU fans can enjoy, but so many people around the world can enjoy. And I know it's only 16 days. I know there's only 14 of them. I'm still really excited to have this little taster because if this pops off, we could see this happen in the US. We could see this happen
Mhm.
in so many other countries. And they could make it even bigger for AU if they do it again. Cara, you wanted to be chaotic. Who's first boot?
Oh, no.
Who's first boot? Go on.
Oh my gosh, wait, now I feel bad.
Go on. You wanted to bring you said AU
I
was
did.
chaotic. It was messy. Come on, bring the messiness. Who's gonna be first boot?
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay, if the Australian tribe loses, I do fear for George.
Yeah.
Um, that does worry me. Um, but I don't wanna say him because I'm rooting for him, but I'm a little nervous for him. I don't think it'll
Yeah.
be I don't know. We'll come back to that. Okay, the
Okay.
world tribe. I'm gonna say I'm looking at their names. I think it could be Tommy.
Okay. Okay. Fair. Fair.
No
I'm gonna
offense,
be
Tommy. I don't
messy.
know
I'm gonna
you.
be messy. Unless he doesn't find an idol round one, day one, tribal one, I do think George will go. I think George is going to be.
No.
I do. I very much
Yeah,
worry.
I
I hope he
know.
exceeds the expectations. I hope he proves me wrong. But I am scared. But that is our reactions. I'm so excited for this season. I can't wait. We have heard rumors that it could be June 22nd is the rumored tentative start date. We will have to keep our eyes on it for that confirmation. Um, but I'm just excited for this AU coverage. But we have got more coverage coming up. So I'm going to read. We've done this, but I'm going to do this again. We've got obviously for Survivor US, we've got a lot of coverage happening. I can say obviously we do have a pre-show on a Wednesday, but it might be a little bit different this Wednesday because Survivor Now will be live at Ron Clark Academy with Randy, Matthew, Tori, and Cara. They will be presenting the Ron Clark Academy's pre-show live. We are hoping to get it here live as well. Still working on those. But if not, you might have me and Avery. You never know. And then right after the episode, we have the after show. We have Stockwatch on Thursdays. Got something for you on Saturdays. I forgot when my show was. And then Survivor Social is normally on Sunday, but it is about to be in 10 minutes. And
Mhm.
Cara, do you want to plug it quickly?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode we have tonight. We have Emily coming on. You might have seen her on TikTok. It's gonna be a good episode. I feel like there's so much to talk about from this last Survivor episode that just happened last week. So definitely tune in.
Oh God, yeah.
in just a couple minutes.
I was going to say, you are literally going to be, you're doing a double
Back
shift
to back.
today. Back to
Yeah.
back. Hey, now we feel. I will say though, because it is Australia versus the world, I do just want to remind everyone that on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern and actually noon Australian Eastern time, myself, Matthew, and Valeria will be recapping the finale of Survivor Australia Brains versus Brawn 2. I'm so excited to talk about this finale and then get hyped all over again for Australia versus the world. But just a reminder, guys, we do have that happening. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click on your notifications to make sure that these all pop up, because we have got all the content coming up. Cara, thank you so much for joining. I have enjoyed this. I'm very excited. How are you feeling?
This was so much fun. This was so much fun. I'm so excited. June can't get here quick enough.
Oh, I mean, I'm so excited. Like the fact that it's going to be summer, and this is normally when we like to take some time off. I have a feeling I'm not going to be taking time off. I don't know if you'll be taking time off. If you want to join for some AU vs the World recaps, you are more than welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have got a lot coming up this year. I'm so excited. Thank you everyone in the chat who has been joining us. You guys have been amazing. Like seeing all the chats, it has been going on and off. I've had to literally keep starring to keep looking at it. We will be back very soon. Remember, you have got Survivor Socials coming up very shortly. Make sure to watch that, as well as all of our Survivor 48 coverage, as well as our AU coverage. And we will see you guys soon.